This video is part of an end result TV show series created during the European Union funded project The Compass, an international training course held in Tykocin in Poland. Throughout the project, participants learned the Compass methodology, a structured framework for organizational management, and worked in groups to design a plan for a sustainable NGO addressing a specific social issue. The participants present their research, showcase their organizational concept, and pitch their strategic plan to the show hosts.
Thank you for being here today with us to share your amazing ideas.
Lovely being here.
We appreciate you, and let's hear it. Let's introduce us to the problem you guys have identified and tell us a little bit more about the idea that came out of it.
We found out that in our population they used to be divided by politics, so it is a lack of political literacy. We want to focus more on the young people because I know for the older generation can be a bit harder. We want to do some activities, teach them how to debate well, what is actually a democratic, what is actually a communist, or what is actually but in a neutral way, not going in one way and not going in another way, just like the theory. Create a safe and open space to then they can debate in a respectful way and have
Thinking,
yes.
And that's that. The project was called Bridgely. It's still a working title, might be changed, but for now it's called Bridgely. It was made by our teammate, Telmo, and it's the idea that we're bridging the gap between young people, because data shows that right now a lot of men are leaning more towards the far right. Women are either staying slightly left or just as they are. So there's a divide among young people. Also, 1 out of every 4 young persons, regardless of gender, is considered radical. So we feel that there's a real problem, and the way that the European politicians and politics are going right now, the far right is based on misinformation and or lack of political literacy. We're not trying to influence any sort of political biases, but it's more about education. Mm-hmm. It's no different than financial education or mental awareness or whatsoever. It's just about education.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about those activities you plan to implement?
This activity we also want to post it in the social media so everyone can see it on.
So again, as my partner is saying, it's about education. So the core of it is education, and we're doing this in so many different ways. Social media is one of the most powerful tools in the modern age, but to have content, you need to have an audience, and to have an audience, you need to gather people around. So that's why a youth exchange is one of those options that we are looking into. Moreover, we want to do workshops and debates. Okay, so when it comes to workshops, it's more about teaching attendees, hopefully most of them should be under 25, preferably, because this is our segment of people, to think critically. Okay, there's bias, there's communism, there's socialism, there's what are these words? What does it even mean? What does it mean to be a socialist? What does it mean to be a democratic? What does it mean to be a capitalist? Because this is a growing issue in Spain. You have 89% of people who believe that they're underrepresented. The voter turnout is coming a lot lower. In 2019 it was 42% and now it's 34%. So that's a 6-point drop in only 5 years.
It will be mainly online, but you also provide offline activities. But do you plan to have the main host somewhere, the main base, or?
We would love to do a scalable model in the sense that it doesn't have to be tied to a specific place. Again, for us, the problem is in Spain, so we would be working with Spanish institutions, namely schools, universities, if it's allowed, and cultural centers that would allow this kind of discourse. The things with debates, it can get a little bit messy, and that's why any debate that we have, we're going to have somebody who is well educated and a fierce debater on any topic. That way you can have proper discourse between people who might come just to be radical in such debates.
For these sorts of activities, what type of funding are you aiming for and where are you going to get it?
This is a very good question, Marco. For the main part, we don't need a lot of funding for regular workshops. I think we need a few good volunteers, and then we can scale the model from there. However, when it comes to use exchanges, I think that if we can prove that we have a good model going, the EU would be interested in having us as a partner. And, like you said, money is money.
Actually, I will say that actually the European Commission, they are looking really well about politics, more when they are close to voting. But anyway, when you are in the neutral way and you are just education and teaching, not teaching, but in no informal or education and
yeah.
these kind of things, they are really love these kind of things. But it's true that it's a really hard topic, so you have to structure really well. But they love this topic. So.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, Maria, go ahead.
Of course. Hi.
If it could be useful to make something like intercultural camps for children, and maybe for yours, because it seems to me if people are not interested in traveling, maybe you can bring another children to them to show that children are similar all over the world, yeah?
I would say that radicalism stems from ignorance. So the more isolated a person is off from the rest of society or from other cultures, they're going to think that they're superior or that their ideas are inherently better than others. So I do believe that finding ways to bring the culture, like cultural ideas from other countries or from Spain to people who are isolated will help fix the problem. So yeah, I believe so. And the idea is to make it easy for those people to learn. That's what I'm saying. Younger minds are easier to make an impression on. And that's why we will be mostly focusing on schools and universities as possible. And if we do it really well, maybe we can try to expand.
Do you perhaps have any message for the audience?
Educate yourself, guys.
and if you don't educate yourself, come to us or Maria. She'll tell you everything you need.
Good. Thank you guys for being here with us today, sharing your ideas. Thank you also, audience, for being present. And for the viewers at home, after the news at 7, stay tuned for the big fundraising event that we're going to be transcribing live. Have a good one.